Hey everyone, it's Rich, the Louisiana Hobby Guy. Today we're going to learn how to master Lightburn's design tools. Well, I say master, but we're just going to scrape the surface. But I got an order from a friend who just bought a house in Ober-Gatlinburg in Tennessee. And it's sort of like a log cabin. It's way up on the mountain in the woods. And they wanted to have a sign saying, "Home is in the mountains," with a picture of a log cabin and a couple of animals and their name along with their children's names. And the request that I got was a little bit odd, but we can work it out. It's not going to be a big deal. They want their last name in big letters on top, and they want their children's names, actually their name, the husband, the wife, and two children, all of the names going across the middle of their last name. So that sounds like a tall order, but just about anything can be done with Lightburn. It's a really powerful software design program which most people don't take advantage of. They think it's circles and squares and octagons and letters, but you can do anything. You can design any graphic in Lightburn. This piece of software has just as many and more features than some software programs that cost 10 or 15 times as much. With that said, let's get started on the sign. So now the first thing I know is that the customer wants the sign to be a rectangle. He wants the ends rounded over on the rectangle, and he wants it to be 12 inches wide by 8 inches high. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here in top left, width and height, make sure that it's unlocked, and make sure that we're in inches over here and not millimeters. And we're going to do number 12, press the tab by 8 and press enter, and then we'll go ahead and lock this. Now he wants the edges of this to be rounded. So what we're going to do is select it up here in the top left, and right now we have a rectangle. So let's come down here on the left side toolbar, and you're going to see radius. We're going to click on radius. We're going to come up here to the corner, and you see my pointer turns into a dot. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to click on this one. Oh, by the way, if you come back to radius, right below it, it'll tell you how much of a radius do you want. So, and this is perfect. So we're going to click on that one. So now come back to the selector, or you can press escape. Now we have exactly what the customer is looking for. So if I select this rectangle, you'll see that it's still 12 by 8. Now that's the size of the piece of wood that I have to cut. And then I've got to round the corners to this radius. But I don't want it to be just plain like that. I want it to have a border. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to press Control and D. And what I've done by pressing Control and D is I've duplicated it. So now I'm going to press Control and grab one of the corners and just bring it in just a little bit, like so. And now you see the duplicate layer that I made. I just shrunk it just a bit. This is the outer perimeter. We're going to click on that, come down to the bottom where it says T1. We're going to make that the tool path. Now if you come up to cuts and layers over here, you'll see that T1 has no output. It will not burn on the laser. That's just our guide. We have to stay within that area. Now I'm going to click on the inner one, and I don't want it to be just a thin line. So what I'm going to do is come over here, and I'm going to click on Offset Shapes. Now when I click on this box, it's going to bring up a new menu. It's going to ask me what the distance is that I want to offset. Well, I want it to be round. I want it to be inward, because going outward would put it too close to the edge. So I want it to be right about there. Looks good. I'm going to say OK. Now we have these two shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the first one, press Control, click on the second one. They're two separate shapes, and I'm going to group those. Now I have just one shape. This outer box is just one shape. So I can click on that, and I can put that on the bottom left, 0-1 layer. And you see how that put in a nice fill this entire area around here is going to be burned, and that'll be our outline. Now the next thing he wanted was their name. So we're going to grab the text. We're going to click in the middle here. I'm going to turn on my caps lock, and I'm going to type Johnson. Now right now I have this in a freshman font, which you probably won't have, but you can use any font that you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out like so. And this one I'm not going to fill, so on the bottom left I'm going to put this on layer 00 so that it's just going to be a line fill. So there we have the first name. Now I think the letters are a little too close together, so what I'm going to do is space them out a little bit with a horizontal space up here. I'm going to increase the horizontal space just a bit. Maybe that's too much. Put it right at 0, and that looks good. And we'll zoom in just a little bit. Now we have to do the parents and the children's names. So I'm going to come up here and change the height, bring this down to about there. We're going to click in here, take the caps lock off. Oh, we still have the wrong font. Let me change that font. We're going to do a script font on this one. I think we'll do the Disney, and we're going to do Barry, Jill, Mary, and Todd. Okay, so these are the 4 names. Now if I press escape twice, we're out here to the selector tool. Now what I'm going to do is make this a little bigger. I'm going to bring it out like so, and then I'm going to shift and click on the outside name. So shifting and clicking make both of them get selected. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to align those horizontally like so. So now if we preview this, that's not going to look good when it's burned, no question about it. But what we're going to do is make this look good. We're going to cut these out and we're going to weld them to the last name. So I'm going to click on the names without selecting Johnson. I'm going to come over here on the left to the offset tool, and I'm going to offset this outward, and you see a preview up there, and I'm just going to come down just a little bit, and we'll say okay. Alright, now if we preview it now, you see it still doesn't look good, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the family names, then click on the last name, pressing Control. Now we have everything selected, and we're going to come over here on the left and weld these shapes together. And we just did the weld. Now if we preview it now, that's going to be a nice burn. So you see we have Johnson in the background, and we have the other names that'll be in the foreground, and we've welded everything together. So now you can read both. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come down here to our arts library, and if you haven't seen my video on Lightburn libraries, I have 2 videos, one on the arts library and one on the cuts library. We're going to use both of these today, and you'll see how quickly this can be done. You should give it a watch if you're not familiar with it. So we're going to come down to, let's see, nature, and I have a cabin already done. I'm going to bring that out. I'm going to scale it to size, and I think that's probably about the right size. I'm going to Control click on the outer border. I'm going to come up here to the top. I'm going to align these so that it's dead center, and there we have our cabin. Next we're going to do home is in the mountains. Now let's just come up here and make this a little bit smaller. Home is in the mountains. Okay, so there we go. And actually, no, you know what? I think I like freshman better. So let's go ahead and change that to freshman. Okay, now we have our words here. So what do? These don't fit. We want them to be about this size. Well, you see this little blue dot right here? That's going to be our savior. What we're going to do is click on that blue dot. We're going to drag it like so. We've got our curved text. We're going to curve it just a little bit more, like so. And then we're going to, with it selected, we're going to also select the outer frame, come up here to the top and align them so that they're perfectly centered. And there we go. It's starting to look like a sign. Let's take a quick preview. That's looking pretty good. So now they also wanted a couple of animals in this as well. Let's go back to the art library, go to animals, and I think we'll pick the howling wolf. How about that? Drop the wolf in. We'll scale him down to size. Get him right about where we want him. I think that looks good. Oh, what is that? Oh, the wolf has no eye. I never did finish this drawing. Okay, so let's just come up here and grab an ellipse. Let's draw him an eye real quick. That looks like an eye, I guess. We're gonna take it, bring it down. And like I said, you can do anything in this software. So it doesn't matter what you have to do, even if you have to make an eye for a wolf. I mean, you can do it in this software. And there we go. We have the eye for the wolf. And while I'm here, I will just click on the wolf, on the graphic, hold down Control, click on the eye, and I will come up here to the family of men and click group, or women, family of men or women. Now I'm going to scale them down, and now our wolf has an eye. And let me zoom back out so I know where to put them and how big to make them. And I think that looks like about a good size right there. What do you think? I think that looks good. Now we'll zoom back out using our roller wheel. And we need to put one on the other side too, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control and D to duplicate it, and without using my mouse, I'm going to use my left arrow so that it's perfectly positioned. Get him all the way to the other side, and then up here on the top toolbar, we're going to flip him the other way. And then just continue using my right arrow until I think he's in the perfect spot, and I think he is, and we're good to go. Now, let's see, what else we have to do? We're almost finished with this. Now I'm going to click on the first names of the family and put that on another layer. I'm going to click on the saying, put that on another layer. And guess what? I think we have our sign. Let's take a look, see. There it is. That's just how easy it is. And you can get any kinds of, you don't have to draw these your graphics yourself. You can get them anywhere online. Now I did notice that I never did finish this log cabin. I think it looks okay, but maybe we should just ungroup it for a minute. I don't mean to take up your time, but I'm doing this live, so we're going to do Control D on this one right here. Move it down, and it needs to come a little bit up like that, and maybe a tiny bit up. And I really don't think I need to do too much more to this, but we'll duplicate that, move it up. We'll take this guy, Control D to duplicate, and put it right about there, and then Control D again, duplicate it once more, and we can drag it out and drag it back. And just bring it a little bit further up. we'll do another Control D. Bring that one up there, and I think that's good enough. Just make it a little bit shorter. That's pretty good. So we've got everything done. I think we're ready to burn. The only thing we have to do is assign our speeds and power, and that's easy to do. So up here we've got the toolpath. That's not going to burn. Okay, that's just for framing. Then we've got, if I right click on this, this is everything on the blue layer. If I right click on this, it's everything on the black layer. These are going to output, these will burn. What do I want them to be? I am burning this on bamboo. It's bamboo wood. It's the same as my Dollar General cutting boards that I have here. So we're going to select the blue, and that's going to be the fill. So in my Dollar General cutting boards, I have engraved dark fill. I'll assign that to the layer, and watch up here what happens to this blue layer when I click assign to layer. Well, nothing, because that's what it is. We're going to go down here to line. I'm going to click on that, assign that to a layer. Nothing really happened here because I just finished another cutting board of a family tree. But typically, this is a library that these are all the things that I work with here. And when I come down here, all I have to do is assign this to the layer up here, and it's ready to burn. I don't have to fool with coming into here and checking the feeds and the speeds and everything else. Everything is already preset in my cut library. So that's it. And just to give you a better example, if I were to take this and just make a square, and we just put it on any layer at all, and I came down here to balsa wood, and I went to 0.394, and I'm going to do scan. So if I did scan, assign to layer, you see how that changed? So that's what this library is for. It's it instantly fills this out for you. So you never have to do it manually again. And it's really a big help. So if you haven't watched those videos, you should. Take a few minutes to go watch them, because I think you'll enjoy it. And now what we're going to do is a preview. And there it is. This is the exact sign that I want. This is how it's going to burn. Left to right, all the way up. Now I do it like this for a reason. I burn this left to right for a reason, because when you're doing text, and especially filled text, you don't want the laser jumping all around the bed. You want it to be a constant back and forth. No jerky motions, no 45-degree angles. You want it to move left to right, because what I'm using, I should say, is a diode laser. That diode laser is not a pinpoint like a CO2. What it is a rectangle. I don't want the lines to appear in the burn, and that's why I do it that way. And if you go left to right, there's the same line distance between it going horizontally as vertically, but you get more coverage going left to right. So you get a much cleaner, darker burn. And then once I burn this, what I'll do is I'll take the finished product, put it in the sink, and just spray it down with some very fine mist of water until it's completely covered. What that's going to do, it's going to make the ash and the soot from the burn stain into the cut. And it's a little trick that I have. I call it the rich trick. And then I let it dry. Let it dry for about an hour, and then I'll spray it one more time, and I'll let it dry overnight. Then I'll just take it, sand it, spray some polyurethane, and it's good to go. And this is what the customer is going to get. I think they're going to be very happy with it. I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to send it to the customer and see if they approve. And if they approve of it, I can start my burn. I hope you got some tips and tricks out of this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Got a lot more videos coming out, and I hope you'll follow along. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I answer all the comments that people make. Thanks for watching.